UFC London is on the way this weekend, and I know folks are very excited about the marquee matchup in the main event. It's Aspinall versus Marcin Tybura. And if we look back last weekend, it was a big-time fight night, Holm versus Bueno Silva. The fans were not about it. The co-main event that was originally scheduled, some people said, lots of people said, worst co-main event ever if it was Albert Duraev and Jun Young Park. Coming up this weekend from London, Matt, I don't know who books these things, but let me tell you something. It's a little bit weird. It's like if you went to the convenience store and you decided,
if you have a big load again, I swear.
I'm hitting it hard. Give me some Barba Papa. Give me that Fago. We didn't take...
Are you trying to get diabetes?
We didn't take English in school, so Barba Papa. That's cotton candy in French. Matt, you know what? If you like going to the convenience store and going, hey,
no,
give me that Megaloads bar.
Nobody's ever gone anywhere since then. Now, I'm sure there's some people in some professions who have said, give me that mega load. Nobody who does what we do on the internet says, give me that mega load. I'm just going to get into this fight. You're right.
As weird as a pop of Fago and a little bit of Megaload, coming up this weekend, McCann versus Stoliarenko.
How much do you think the UFC wants Molly McCann to win this fight, I guess is what I'm saying.
Easy answer. Megaloads.
That's my big problem about this fight. For Julija Stoliarenko, we have seen her ability to get submissions off her back, right? She has a phenomenal armbar. She's a very active fighter from that position. And what a lot of people forget is, yes, Molly McCann is a boxer, but in a lot of her wins, she is going to go for some offensive takedowns and really use her pressure, not only for her striking, but for her wrestling's sake. So yes, that will give Julija Stoliarenko opportunities to at least incorporate her submission game. But on the feet, I got to be honest, I don't think Molly McCann is a Jessica Andrade. I don't even think she's a D. Gomes. I still think she's probably the more complete fighter on the feet than a Julija Stoliarenko.
Julija Stoliarenko fought Lethway before coming into the UFC, the Art of Nine Limbs.
How many headbutts you ever see in the UFC?
She fought with Saiza. That's an organization that you saw Tabitha Ricci compete with in Japan before coming into the UFC. Stoliarenko then goes on to the Ultimate Fighter, season 28. She loses in the season to Pennington, who goes to the finale. Then Stoliarenko has a real UFC fight against Leah Letts and loses split decision. She goes back to the regional scene, builds herself back up, does Stoliarenko has one of the craziest fights you're ever going to see in Invicta against Lisa Verzosa, wins the bantamweight title there. But the craziest part about it for Stoliarenko, we talk about this career reinvention, moving down to flyweight. And it's weird for her because she has featherweight and bantamweight experience. This is the first fight I could find on Stoliarenko's mark to go down to flyweight. So odd there for Stoliarenko in the UFC. I mentioned it in the open, or I mentioned it in the last video, 1-5. The Ana Santos fight gets held up against the cage. She's going to try and pull down Santos. It doesn't happen. The fight against Julia Avila, there's a lot of attempts for submissions. Avila is the one that ends up getting the submission win.
Alexis Davis,
against
right there.
Alexis Davis on the mat. You had 2 or 3 chances at the Gumby armbar, and Stoliarenko couldn't get it done. She does get it done against Jessica Rose Clark. Jessica, the mat is lava. Oh well. And then she gets submitted. And for Stoliarenko, her last time out against runs away from the fight, Chelsea Chandler. In that one, wonky striking from the two of them. Stoliarenko rocks Chandler. Stoliarenko gets the first takedown. That fight, a catchweight at 140. Chandler wins and gets ranked off of that win. Don't forget it. Then it was 2 more takedown attempts from Stoliarenko.
Bantamweight's as shallow as a kiddie pool right now.
And Chelsea Chandler ends up getting on top. She gets the finish. So now Stoliarenko down to 125, where Meatball Molly McCann, the boxing gets it done, the former Cage Warriors flyweight champ. But for Molly McCann, in the fights that she struggled with, Jillian Robertson, Tyla Santos, we're talking, and I know we're talking higher names, Laura Fritzen. Why did she leave the UFC off a Casey O'Neill loss? That's beyond me. She's over there with, and I quote, Immortal? That's who she's with now. She had a great fight. She had a fight of the night against Carol Osa.
If you lose to like Song Yadong and Casey O'Neill, you probably shouldn't get cut immediately.
See you later. And so it is odd that way, but if you look at also the loss there in Blanchfield, we know where McCann struggles, and those are the waters that Stoliarenko swims in. The black belt in Jiu-Jitsu is Stoliarenko. Now, Molly McCann for this one, next gen Liverpool. Obviously, Jafel Filho in the undercard, some hard feelings because that's why Makayev's not on this card. And for Pimblett, a tricky win his last time out. And he's no longer here, or he's not on this card. But what I want to say is McCann training with Shauna Bannon, who's on the undercard of this one. It's pretty cool to see there, but it really is, at the end of it, both of them can strike, both can get it done with the grappling, but it does feel like oil meets water.
It really does. Again, Molly McCann can go for those offensive takedowns. Wouldn't do it in this fight, though, at all. At all. Boba Fett can't hit fastballs, but boy, can that guy hit off speed. So you just never throw them off speed. You just throw high and inside fastballs till the cows come home. For Julija Stoliarenko, if her great X factor of her game is those offensive submissions off her back, why would you ever take her down to the mat? I still think Molly McCann on the feet, though, has enough of a game to go out there and win some rounds with her boxing, but this is a really difficult fight to predict because Stoliarenko can go out there and get a lot of finishes, especially with her submission ability, whereas McCann, yes, she has knockout wins in the UFC, but a lot of it is that steady kind of in-your-face boxing, like an Alexis Davis, and I'm glad you bring up that fight.
The best 10-7-1 you'll see in the UFC. The best 1-5 in the UFC, akin to Jalga Shimagula. Matt, Molly McCann's a giant favorite in the matchup. We have a look over on Topology. Surprise to us as they are to you. I'm going to say over under 90% McCann.
I think it'll be over.
It's exactly 892 total votes, 90% McCann, 29% by decision, 64% by knockout. That's rich. For the 10% that have Stoliarenko, 69% by submission. If Stoliarenko is going to win, she's going to submit Molly McCann. I don't see Stoliarenko winning a decision against Molly McCann. For Molly McCann, if she wins, I see it going to a decision over Stoliarenko and not by knockout.
I agree, and that's how I think this fight's going to go. I think her steadiness on the feet is going to be enough for her to go out there and win rounds. I worry about her if she is going to go for offensive takedowns because, again, McCann's someone who's striking will just kind of end her up in some of those positions because of how looping her shots can be. She'll just kind of end up shooting for takedowns up against the cage. Very difficult place to be fighting someone like Stoliarenko. But I do have Molly McCann in this matchup as Craig takes a sniff of pure sugar.
Give it a sniff.
Yeah, that's...
Barba papa, and it's scared you to
You know some old man on TV saying diabetes because people are drinking those.
Je m'excuse, Matt. Both of us going with Meatball Molly McCann in the matchup. Main event, Tom Aspinall is taking on Marcin Tybura. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, we always say.
Let's get into it.